verbal or life.
Welcome to Verbal on Life. My name is Noel over here, battling MS. I'm glad to be here with you. Thank you for clicking on the thumbnail. And I just wanted to go live, do a little bit of talking. You know, this is my solution to MS. It's for you to talk, right? For you to explore your ideas and put them out there and let people reply to you. So if you have any comment, go ahead and write go ahead and comment below if you have any comments. And shout out to all my subscribers. I'm up to 1,636. I need 4 more subscribers to get to 1,640. And that's crazy. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe so we keep doing these videos. There are my dogs. All right. In this episode, I want you to take a look at a law and crime episode talking about Ruby Frank and Jodie Foster. So, who is Ruby Frank and Jodie Foster? That was my first question. I have no clue. Let me take it off for now. So I want to take a look at this law and crime episode where they talk about Ruby Frank and Jodie Foster. Let me double check, make sure I got the names right. Yeah, Ruby Frank and Jodi Hildebrandt. I think that's the name. Why does my shirt keep going over to the left? But we're going to take a look at this case by Jodie Frank and Jodie Foster. Let me see if I can bring it up here.
Until you get your chores done.
But it was August 30th, 2023, when things really changed for Frankie.
Place your hand behind your back for me. Perfect. And then
That's when this harrowing 911 call was made.
This kid has obviously been, I think he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds.
We've played the call for you dozens of times here on Law and Crime Network, but this is the first time we're actually seeing what led up to it.
So that young kid just walked up to a neighbor's house and rang on the doorbell. Shout out to that kid.
This week, Washington County, Utah finally released dozens of documents, photos, audio recordings, and videos, all relating to the Frankie case, and we're getting a firsthand look at what happened. We know that on August 30th of last year, the Frankie's son, who we are identifying as RF, broke free from Jodi Hildebrandt's Ivins, Utah home and ran for help. Here's a video of him approaching a neighbor's home and ringing the bell. You can see RF ring the bell and wait at the front door for someone to answer. As he stands there, RF is emaciated with extremely small legs. You can see the duct tape around his ankles. He's wearing a ragged long-sleeve shirt that has blood on the arm and socks without shoes. When RF knocks on the door, it's soft, almost as if he's too weak to make a loud bang.
Shout out to that kid, man, for heading over to the neighbor to talk.
After about 2 minutes waiting at this home, RF leaves and heads to another neighbor's home.
Wow.
The next neighbor RF visits makes the infamous 911 call, and the entire thing is caught on ring camera video. Here, you can see the boys slowly approach the door before pressing the intercom.
Again, shout out to that
At
kid.
first, it seems like no one will answer the door as there's an automated response.
Answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
So RF starts to walk off before we hear what sounds like a door opening.
Yes.
RF turns around and faces the neighbor, asking for what he calls some favors.
Hi, I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
Well, what are they?
Taking me to the nearest police station.
The man asks the boy what's going on, and he replies, it's personal business.
Well, actually, just one's fine.
What's going on, son? Have a seat there.
It's personal business.
The neighbor asks RF how he got over there before the video cuts out.
What's your name? How'd you get here?
We now know RF broke free from duct tape shackles after months of abuse. He
Shout out to that man for helping that kid out.
and his younger sister were found in such poor condition that they needed to be hospitalized after their rescue. Next, we see video of the neighbor making the infamous 911 call that up until now, we only had heard audio for. As you can see, RF is within earshot of the call.
222-1512. I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. And he's said he just came from a neighbor's house and he's emaciated. He's got tape around his legs. He's hungry and he's thirsty.
Need someone immediately.
Another video shows the man still on the line with 911.
But he has duct tape around his ankle.
Injuries, there's sores around them.
Yeah, there's sores around him. I think the good chance he's been.
And he also has
Oh, and he has it
around
around his
his
ankle.
wrist as well.
I mean, his wrist as well. Okay, this boy has been.
Needs immediate attention.
The 911 recording is famous for the neighbor tearing up during the call as he explains the boy's condition. We now know that as one neighbor was saying all this, the other was comforting RF.
Oh, he was such a good kid.
This kid.
The grown man started crying. That's how scary that was. Shout out to that man, yo. That's crazy.
Oh, they're sleeping. I think he's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds.
In another ring video from the same house, we see RF eating for the first time as emergency responders arrive.
He's hungry and he can remember he's had his parents stocking feet. So he escaped.
We
That's
need the police
crazy.
now.
I don't know.
You know any allergies to that?
I hear cars knocking on the driveway.
The neighbors wave for the ambulance to come closer as they tell RF he's going to be checked out.
I wonder why the media, the mainstream media, didn't cover this enough or didn't talk about it. Like if you turn the TV on, they don't talk about this.
Okay.
The fact that a woman held her kids hostage.
These folks are going to examine you.
Separate body camera video shows one of the first responders begin to cry after seeing RF's wounds.
I'll take more if you want me to. Is that you?
Soon, RF is loaded into the back of an ambulance. Body camera video shows a sergeant speak with the boy, saying he needs a few pictures of the wounds.
How is this possible? Seriously, like,
Released photos of the boy's wounds and his sister's, but we've decided not to show them because they're too gruesome. Additional video of RF being treated has been partially redacted, but you can hear a first responder remind the boy he's not in trouble.
How did you get the ropes on you? Who did them? You're not in trouble with me, okay? We're just trying to figure out what's going on. Our main focus right now is you, okay? Who put the ropes on you? Supposed to help you what?
An officer later describes RF's wounds, saying he could smell the flesh.
First observed the kid. He was sitting on the chair, had the duct tape and plastic around his ankles. And then he had a long sleeve shirt on. And then we pulled his sleeve
That's a nice house, by the way.
beneath the sleeves on both wrists. And then medical got there. They started cutting the stuff off him. And then you can see like the dark around his ankles, and it you can smell it, the flesh. It's underneath the tape. As soon as they took it off, you can, even outside, you can smell the flesh. And then put him in the ambulance. I went in there. They started cutting more off of it. You can see the wounds on the back of his ankles, or on the front of his ankles, and then on his wrists as well. And the wounds around his ankles were dark and like, I don't know, like wet looking, I guess, from the moisture underneath it. Yeah, he said he was tied on the ground with a rope. That's where the wounds came from. Yeah, with ropes on all four of his extremities. And that's where the wounds came from. And then they put cayenne pepper mixed with honey, he said, on the wounds. And then covered that with the plastic saran wrap and then the duct tape over the wounds.
You know, I wonder, how did it get this far? Like, don't those kids got to go to school? Don't those kids got to see other adults? Like, how do you keep this secret? How nobody noticed? Like, the kid had to walk away on his own before anybody noticed what was happening.
Jodi, I need you to step out.
I have my turn.
That's great. Step out of the house.
No, I'm not gonna step out of
Step
the
out of the
house.
house.
Step out of the house.
Whoa.
Let's just get this.
Whoa,
Is there
whoa.
anybody else home?
Wait a minute, how do you come in my house?
Right there.
You can come into my house.
So have a seat right there.
Do you have a search warrant?
Have a seat right there.
Do you have a search
Have
warrant?
a seat right there. I'll explain everything after. Have a seat right there.
Do you have a search warrant, sir?
Control 12X11. Can you hold there? We're searching the house.
I can tell you what's in the house.
Okay. Just have a seat right there for me.
So that's Jodi. I guess the mother is the other young lady called Ruby. And that's a nice house, by the way. I wonder what this...
Okay. Well, that's one of the reasons why we're here. So we'll explain after everything's done, after we clear the house and make sure everything's fine in
But
there.
why are you coming into my house without a
We'll
search warrant?
explain it after this.
But that doesn't make sense. You come into my house and do what you want, and then you tell me you don't have a
No, we'll
warrant.
explain why we did.
But don't you have to have a warrant?
Not at this moment, we don't. We're here on exigent circumstances. And I'll explain it after this, after my sergeant and the officer are done clearing the house.
So it's impressive that she knows the law. So she's arguing the law with the police officer. From my understanding, that's the cult leader. Her name is Jodi Hildebrandt. And Ruby is the mother of the young kids that were tied up. Which, again, I'm just shocked that they didn't go to school and teachers noticed.
And she's on this side?
I have Airbnb guests over there. Probably scared them to death.
Okay.
If you're watching this video, did you know about this? This is crazy.
Can you get through the house that way?
Yes, they just have to go right there.
There's no other kids besides her?
No.
What's her name?
And this was 22 hours ago. Another question is, who's funding all of this? Where'd she get the money to get that house and to get everything that she got? Somebody got to pay the mortgage. Like, somebody got to pay for food. Somebody got to pay the mortgage, the gas. the insurance. So somebody's funding all of this. How is this even possible?
To the main bedroom?
It's right there.
How do you get there from the inside?
Walk around the corner. There's a little hall. And it's the first.
Just around the corner, down the hall.
Second door to the right.
So she's very cooperative.
Police officer.
We're getting a glimpse into newly released video showing the devastating moments after police encountered the children of disgraced YouTuber Ruby Franke. Officials have recently released a large amount of evidence against the former mom blogger, who is serving a lengthy prison sentence for felony aggravated child abuse. Franke and her then business partner Jodi Hildebrandt's arrests were triggered after Franke's 12-year-old son was found emaciated with open wounds and duct tape around his body. A newly released Ring camera video, the young boy appears thinner and without shoes, in stark contrast to how he.
So she was a YouTuber. So I'm assuming she was making YouTube video with her kids. Still, people noticed, and somebody should have said something.
Hi, I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
Well, what are they?
Taking me to the nearest police station. Well, actually, just one's fine.
What's going on, son? Have a seat there.
Have a seat.
Personal business.
Have a seat.
So the kid was trained to say personal business.
How'd you get here?
The neighbor then calls 911.
Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. And he's said he just came from a neighbor's house. And you know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated. He's got tape around his legs. He's hungry and he's thirsty.
Is your door locked?
No, I'm sitting outside with him on the front patio. He asked us to call the police. So he's very afraid.
The neighbor's out of their home, or is anybody looking for them that you can see?
No. Our homes are far enough away. I'm not sure. How did you get out of the house?
Porch. He went out.
He said you just left through the porch at the neighbor's house. Her name is Jodi Hildebrandt, and she lives 2 doors up the street.
Body cam video later shows officers and emergency responders arriving. One EMT seems so shocked by the extent of Franke's son's injuries, she can be heard saying, "I'm going to cry."
I'll take more. If you want me to, I'll send them to you.
Franke's son is later put inside an ambulance for treatment, where video shows officers talking to the young boy while he's on the gurney and asking who.
Yo, that's a tough job, man. Like I said, man, how is this not covered by the media? And how can she run a cult and nobody noticed that there was something odd with the kids? They did a good job, I guess. And later on, they're going to arrest Ruby. And she just stays quiet because she knows not to talk to the police. Did you guys know about this? Comment below. Because this is something that we all should be aware of. Like, how was this even possible? And look at that house. That looks nice.
And inside of the closet, cross-legged on the floor in complete silence.
You come in, my buddy. I'm a police officer. Are you okay? You need me? Hey, you okay? Is it just you in here?
They found more kids.
I'm Sergeant Tobler. What's your name? I just have one. Where's your sister at? Contact one. You okay? Huh? You doing okay? You don't want to talk to me? Yeah, that's okay. Can you come with me, though?
Sergeant Tobler would later tell ABC News they initially believed Franke's daughter was a little boy due to the young girl having a buzz cut at the time. Tobler then tells EF they apprehended Jodi Hildebrandt, but the little girl still sits silent, seemingly too afraid to speak.
We got Jodi out here. You know Jodi? She's outside with us.
They taught the kids not to talk. Whatever you do, do not talk.
Police officer. Did you know that? I don't mean to hurt you at all. You doing okay? Are you scared? Yeah?
You know, this whole believe all women, we got to be more careful. This is crazy. And the father's to blame also because he's the father. He was supposed to notice.
No?
The father's supposed to notice and say something.
I'm not going to hurt you. Promise. See this right here? It's a badge. It tells me I don't hurt people. I'm just here to make sure you're okay. You're in no way in any trouble. I'm not here to hurt you. I just want to make sure you're okay. And I get it if you're scared. I would be too.
That's crazy.
Okay? You want to come with me?
Still visibly afraid, the officer then offers reassurance to the young child by sitting down on the floor with her.
Sit down. It's okay if I just sit here with you. We don't have to say anything if you don't want to. Okay. I'll just sit here with you.
Again, how is this possible? That nobody noticed, nobody said anything. Wow, crazy.
Sergeant Tobler asks the young girl if she's hungry and would like some food.
I'll put this one, okay? Over here. You can eat. There you go. Thanks, yeah.
EF seems nervous to eat as she stares at the small personalized pizza for several minutes before slowly inching the food toward her so she can take a bite. Rested.
Was this your order? I'm gonna.
It's yours if you want it. We'll say that.
We also have snacks if you need anything to eat.
Look at the mother. She says nothing. It's like she was waiting for this day to come and not talk.
To talk to you about kind of a few things involving your kids. So first, do you live down here or?
This is what you call a trained assassin. She knows she can't talk. I think she's seen the movies. She heard on the street, whatever you do, don't talk because it will be used against you.
So we just spoke with your husband and he said you guys have 6 kids. Are those all together? Are those all your kids?
He wants to talk.
I can wait all day. So it's up to you if you want to talk to us about what's going on.
All she got to do is request a lawyer.
Would you feel more comfortable talking to one of us?
Maybe you want me to step out if you want.
Or if you feel more comfortable talking to him, I can step out. I'll wait till I have a lawyer.
There you go.
So you don't want to talk to us at all?
Wait till I get a lawyer. What a trained assassin. That's
You
insane.
want to answer that? Or you don't want to talk to us about anything?
So yeah, this is just your chance to tell us. We're just trying to get your side of the story.
Wow.
So it's your chance to do that. That's up to you. We're just here to talk. And I mean, I'm not asking any criminal questions. If you don't want to talk to us, just let us know and we'll be done.
It's like she was waiting for this day.
I've already told you.
There you go.
You want a lawyer? Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Easy enough.
Thank you.
Is there anything else I can get for you in the meantime? I got the water. Do you need a bathroom break or anything like that? No? Okay.
She can wait till
I'm good.
Hey, Jody, how are you? So I know.
It's like the trick is not to talk, man. That's a horrible situation.
Trying to get you in the paper. I need you to sit in the C20. It's all about camera angles. If you sit in the happen, that'd be great.
Can I get you any water, snacks? Doing all right?
Can be expected. How long you lived here in Islands? 7 minutes.
So this is the cult leader, but she answers every question.
Yes, I can.
And how long were you up there for?
I'm a little nervous.
To be honest with you, if I was sitting over there, I'd be a little nervous too. So don't worry about it. We're just here to talk, to get your side. And right now we're just asking you just typical questions, like how long you lived here, that kind of thing.
Watch too many detective movies.
How yeah.
Which one's your favorite?
Me too. You can't honestly. I sit there and I'm married, and I sit there and watch those with my wife, and I say, we don't. That's not how we do it. That's not right. So there's some good ones out there. Don't get me wrong.
So she watched a lot of movies and she knows better. She knows not to talk. You're not supposed to talk when you don't have a lawyer next to you. And that's all she's doing. Trying to use the system in her favor.
That's my attorney. He said, don't say anything. And I said, I have nothing to hide. And he's like, I know that, but just let me be there with you when we talk. So you guys seem nice people.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hide anything. I can't be difficult. This is really, if you knew all the pieces, I think you'd have a lot of empathy for what's going on.
That's really
That's what we're looking for. And you're an adult. And the thing about our interview, if we ask you any questions that you don't want to answer, you can just tell us, I don't want to answer that question. But we do want to have a basis and an understanding of what's going on in that home or what went on up north that brought them into your home. And so if you want to share any of that and you don't want to answer any other questions, that's okay.
I'd like to just tell you, but I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're gonna flip my word, but I don't know.
And that's the good thing about cameras. Everything, it's pretty much double recorded, audio, video, and it's for the safety of for you and for us because we don't want to flip your words. And this will all be pretty much right there to support you. So we're not going to use anything against you.
He'd be so insistent, man. He's an honest, good man. Goes to church. I trust him. Why would he say that to me then?
I don't know your attorney, to be honest.
Well, I'm just saying he's a good honest man.
Yeah,
and I'm an honest person as well. So we get along great. And he just said, do not say anything.
Maybe just as an attorney,
They always say that.
they always want to be with their client. I'm not sure. But like I said, at any time, if you don't want to
The cops are so nice people.
court on what you do want to answer and what you don't. So
Well, I think it looks bad that I don't want to answer anything, but it's not because I'm trying to be difficult. I'm really hanging on what he told me to do.
Yeah, who's your attorney?
Adam, his father's an attorney, his brother's an
Is he
attorney.
local?
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know.
He's on
Where
street
is it?
where the
Where is the lawyer?
town hall is.
But
They all have the same name.
the whole reason we're sitting here today is there's a lot of questions we have that we just maybe misunderstandings that we just need to clarify.
I
And
know, and I'd love to tell you if you were here, because I don't know, I don't know what's gonna happen with what I say. You know, I'm a psychologist. I've watched people flip things all the time. So I get it. I sit on your side. I get it. I wish people didn't do that, but they do.
well, if you're not willing to answer any of the questions about yourself, would you be willing to answer any questions maybe about Ruby or Kevin that you could help us understand? We just honestly want to understand what their dynamic is,
They are so nice.
what caused their separation.
Right.
And after talking to Kevin, it sounds like you know a lot about their dynamic and their relationship. So if you could help us understand that at the least, that would be awesome. And that's nothing incriminating towards yourself because it's not pertaining to you. So
I don't know why the victim what's her name, Jodi, doesn't just say, can we just wait for the lawyer? I don't want to talk. Like, that's all she got to say.
we'll go
He made
down,
an
okay.
appointment at 4 on
He made
Friday
an appointment
here.
at 4.
He talked to the officer
Okay.
and said, can we make a time? And he said out loud, do not talk to them.
Okay. Well, I'll talk and see if we can schedule that, and maybe that's just something we just do with your attorney. Okay. Do you have any questions for us? I can answer in the meantime.
You guys are,
We'll give you a card with the phone number. And then, yeah, you can call Adam, have Adam call us, and we can schedule it, or you can call us and schedule it. Okay. Just gonna do another research. Nothing in your pockets, yeah, nothing on you at all? Okay.
I think it's difficult to just believe all women no matter what. I don't think that style works or that way of thinking works. And those ladies seem to have trained those children to a T, just not to talk. And that kind of reminds me of what I went through with my baby mother, where I was the only one to see that my kid wasn't safe for her. So I had to go to court and request to get full custody of my child because I noticed that he wasn't being safe for her. And thank God I was able to get custody of my child. And now my child lived with me. So the father had to he had to see it and he had to do something and not just let the women do what they want, because it's all about looking for the best welfare of the child. So that's the only way I relate to this. The fact that as a father, you're supposed to notice those things and take actions. It's a little difficult. It's time consuming. It may take money, but well worth it, man, because that child is going through hell.
Hold that one there, I'm just cup. So make a little wide. Up the stairs.
So that's the other one, Ruby Frank. She's just cooperating fully. She looks insane. I want to fast forward through this.
Have you ever been arrested before?
She knows better. She don't say a word.
I'm just concerned about you. I know you don't believe that. But I've had an opportunity to talk to your husband and kind of worried about your circumstances and obviously your children.
She's seen so many movies and TV and read a lot of books or spoken with a person that the police can take whatever words you want and flip them. Whatever you say, they could switch it up. So she's so afraid of talking. The whole time she just lets the cop talk and she just stands there. That's scary enough.
So I got 72 years.
Just let you know, I am going to read the Miranda rights before we start. We're
All right, this is the father.
about your involvement. Okay. So first, you have the right to remain silent. And
I think the father, they could clean their hands and just said, I walked away and left everything to the mother. Left all my kids with the mother and just let her deal with it. And that's kind of how a lot of men walk away from situation and just say, I felt that she had the kid's best interest and therefore I didn't intervene. But I think there's a flawed reasoning.
But to just say, hey, I'm not going to talk, that's not beneficial to you, and then we're done. There's no way, I don't know where. And sure.
I think it requires more work from the father to actually go ask questions to the child, talk to them, and see for himself that the kid is doing good.
WILLIANFRAN.
Because now he's going to find out all the information that the kids have problems. Where was he? Because I think the cops now try to flip it and get him in trouble for allowing the kids to be treated, abused, basically.
but you do live in Springville.
I do.
How long have you lived in Springville for?
I moved there in 2007 with my family, so
And how many?
17 years.
17. And how many kids do you have, Kevin?
I have 6 kids.
And what are their names?
The man got 6 kids. 2 of them are grown. And he's the one who funded all of this. Like, this man makes a lot of money. I think he's a college professor and an engineer. You know, when you do an engineer work, you're making a lot of money. So instead of dealing with it, he just walked away and let mom deal with it.
I can't remember. Some of them are teenagers, 2 adults. Yeah.
So are they all living with you, or
No, I haven't seen them for over a year.
any of them?
No, none of them.
For a year.
Over a year.
Okay.
I've been in a separation
From who?
from my wife and family.
What's your wife's name?
Ruby.
Ruby. When's the last time you saw Ruby?
The last time I saw her
Yeah.
was the 18th of this month. We met she requested me to sign over vehicles, or the titles to the vehicles. The vehicle that she drives were all in my name.
When's the last time you physically saw Russell or Eve?
The day that I moved out, July 24th, 2022.
24th of 2022.
Or July 25th, July 25th.
So it's my understanding that at least
I think it's so easy. It's so easy for the father to just move out and leave everything to the mother. Because you don't have to come home and, I guess, babysit your kids. You're so independent.
no, because I'm unaware of your involvement.
And maybe that's what courts, like judges, give the ruling to favor the women.
I know that sounds kind of crummy to you, but it sounds kind of good to me. Like, who lives in that home with your, is it ex-wife? Is it currently a separated wife? Like, who lives in that home with your children?
To be honest, I don't know. I know that she's there with
4 of the children, and our 2 older children, have moved out.
They're not at your home in Springville? And I'm not trying to trip you up. I can see you're hesitant to talk to me. I understand that.
Well, where I live, no,
Yeah.
I haven't seen them for over a year.
Okay. That's tough. I can only imagine how that feels when I got kids. And not seeing them for that long, that would tear a piece of my heart out.
So you know what I'm gonna say? Okay, I'm assuming that him as a father walked away, but in order to feel better about everything, he paid all the bills. You know, gave her like a monthly, what's it called, like a monthly child support, paid for the house, paid for the food, gave her a monthly check, and like that he felt good that at least he was taking care of the kids by forking over all that money. And then right now, the mother is getting in trouble. So he's just saying, I don't know, I release the kids to her and let her take care of everything. But I don't think that's going to be valid.
So you haven't seen any of your kids in over a year, you said?
That's correct.
And then what was the last time you saw her? How old is she now?
15.
Like, for example, when I broke up with my baby mother, my biggest fear was that she's going to continue with the apartment or the home, and I will have to fork over and pay all the bills for her and her new boyfriend or her new husband, plus my child. So then I felt like, you know what? I'm going to be working for you guys to help put money in your pocket. I don't agree with that. So we ended up breaking up and going to different homes. And then when I noticed that my son wasn't given the best or wasn't being treated correctly, I went ahead and went to court to request my son. So maybe that's what this guy should have done. Notice whether the child was being treated correctly. And if he noticed that the child is not being treated right, then go to court. So I got to put pressure on him because of that.
And we separated and we were going on 22 years. Yes.
Okay. And during your marriage, how was disciplining your kids? How would you discipline your kids?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay, that's fine.
Have you been since separated or since they lived here in the city of Ivins? Have you communicated with your wife regarding like disciplining with your kids or their care or their physical well-being?
No.
So is she doing this on her own, just telling you how your kids are?
She's not telling me anything about the kids.
Who's this female Jodi that your wife was? Do you know a female named Jodi?
She is a therapist and a life coach, I know. And she's.
Do you respect her?
Do I respect her? Yeah, I think she's a very honest, truthful person. Yes.
Okay.
So Jodi was in charge of the cult, who trained Ruby and taught Ruby how to do this, whatever she was doing, the child abuse. And this man, again, walked away thinking that he's leaving the kids in good hands with the mother.
House is what I'm trying to say.
I'm not aware of that, but I know that they've been in business for the last year filming.
Who's they?
Ruby and Jodi. They
Ruby and
film
Jodi.
podcasts, and so every week a podcast goes up and I listen to it.
What's the name of it?
Connections with an X.
Like CON.
CONNEXIONS. Yeah.
And then, do you support them in that role and doing that and having?
Do I support them in the business?
Yeah, like do you support them and think that what they're doing is a good thing, or?
Yeah, I support their business efforts. I think it's a good thing.
Are you involved with their business efforts, or?
No.
Okay. So just Ruby and Jodi.
Okay. In the business?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I think the difficult part of raising children is actually being there. Being there to take care of the kids, to answer any question for the kid, and to discipline the child. I think that's the difficult part, and a lot of men take advantage by just saying, you know what, I'm going to pay the rent, I'm going to pay all the bills, so I'm doing my part. So that means that the mom stayed with the kids 24/7. And look what she just did, child abuse. And it's awful when the courts and the justice system don't push in quick enough.
Visit.
It looks here like the kids went through hell.
It's gone.
It's a vast chapter, yeah.
So how do you and Ruby communicate? Just through text, phone call?
Through text, and if there's anything considered an emergency, we agreed that we would communicate through a phone call.
Okay. And do you know her phone number off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, no.
Okay. No worries.
See, he got to be careful too because he doesn't have a lawyer. I'm just surprised how many people go talk to the cops without a lawyer. Like, calling a lawyer should be the easiest step to make. You get a phone call when you go to jail, when you're being detained. So for people to just walk in there without a lawyer, it's just weird. Especially, we're in the year 2024, so we all seen the movies, we all seen television shows, and everybody over and over again just keeps saying, going with a lawyer. Because all of this footage is being used in court against you, against that man.
To trust my wife with the children. That was part of the agreement of our separation.
Is that you allow her to physically provide for the needs of the child. You're just removed from that. I mean, you pay support. I know.
You know how hard it is to prove to the courts or to anybody that what the mom is doing to the child, I don't see it as fair. I don't agree with it. So I was saying all of that with my personal child, just real quick, my story. And I had to go to court and tell the judge that I want custody of the child. And the judge fought me so hard not to give me my son. So I just did it nicely without a lawyer, because that's another thing. I had a police officer, a friend of mine told me you could go to court without a lawyer and you could win. And I did just that. Went to court and took full custody of my son.
I asked you if you placed value on it, but you obviously.
This guy didn't want to take full custody because it's a lot of kids. It's 4. And you know what happens when you have 4 kids? You got to go to work and do a full-time job. And then you got to go home and do another full-time job disciplining your children. So it's like you only get to rest when you go to sleep. That's it.
From my job, I drove down here. That's all I know. I come to pick up my kids and to take them home with me.
Yeah, if there's custodial paperwork that says that you're like there's no custodial paperwork denying you of rights, correct?
There's no custodial paperwork at all.
Period. So the kids are yours.
They are mine.
Okay.
Yes. This wasn't just a verbal agreement between my wife and I when we separated last year.
Well, what questions do you have?
Oh, I want to know what's going on and why I was asked to come down and pick up my 2 kids.
Well,
and a lot of that kind of hinges on who asked you, because if we had been the one, like, I'm not going to say you fit, but I'm confident a cop didn't call you because we wouldn't have wanted you down here at this point in our investigation. So having said that, I think it's time we be honest with you, right?
Sure. No, I didn't lie. Someone contacted me, but I don't want to say without
from your office, but okay.
Well, I don't recall saying something from my office.
Our office.
No.
someone, yeah. So we don't know who called you. So if we knew who called you, then we could help you.
It would make more sense.
But
well, I don't know the legal ramifications of implicating individuals who contact me. So
friends and collaborating and doing podcasts and
sure.
Well, you're the custodial parent of the child. I don't see why we can't explain to you why we're involved. So I don't recall the exact time, but sometime before 11 o'clock today, we received a phone call from 911 on our dispatch that a 12 to 13-year-old boy was knocking on doors in a neighborhood asking for food and water, that he was severely emaciated, that he had
what is emaciated?
Skinny, scrawny, malnutrition, not enough food, not enough water to sustain life. So he had,
I'm sorry, what?
He had duct tape on his extremities, on his hands, on his ankles, and those were covering rope burns that were used to tie him down.
And I never saw that YouTube podcast where she was doing stuff for her kids. I've heard of parents doing things with kids, but this sounds crazy. He starts crying.
Was taken to the hospital. A warrant has been applied and granted by the Department of Child and Family Services to remove from your wife's care. So no.
Again, maybe because, I mean, how many people follow podcasts involving parents and their kids? I'm assuming it's other parents with their kids. who find it funny or find it cool that they're getting the kids to do these jokes on TikTok and on YouTube.
These
Based on
precious.
I guess they turn it into a business.
I don't know the details, or I don't know what's going on, but as you described that sounds
Horrible, horrible, disgusting. No human being should be treated like that.
yeah, okay.
That's my thoughts, but again, we might be different on that. We're gonna sit here for a second, okay? We're gonna go out and talk. I'm not saying you're still not free to go. Are you under arrest? Absolutely not. We just have lots of questions that we need to figure out. Lots. Okay?
Okay, because
Your children are under medical care right now.
and what does that mean?
And it means that you don't have access to them. My understanding is that they are, what is that?
They're in the custody of DCFS.
And they will be for.
Wait, so he's not free to go, but he's not under arrest.
Based on our understanding,
At least
That's a crazy situation to be in.
DCFS is going to provide you that information and they can better answer your questions along those lines. That's handled through them. Okay, so we'll be back.
So always.
I'm gonna fast forward.
And you've been there, you know that. And so I don't know any adults who are going to see the truth. So I'm calm about this, and I just pray that you'll hang in there.
The next day, Ruby speaks with Kevin again and even defends Jodi Hildebrandt.
The most upsetting thing is that I am completely misunderstood. That is the most horrible feeling. Like my own family misunderstands me, they misinterpret me, and poor Jodi, they misinterpret her, they misunderstand her. She puts her neck out on the line for people, and then they mad at her. I mean, it is just horrendous. It's horrendous.
Ruby seems to realize the legal implications ahead, but still blames the entire situation on Satan.
He's 35 years in this, and he said, even if you are acquitted and are released, they will place legal restrictions on your access to the under 18 children.
I figured such. God told me. God told me when I was driving before I called you. I didn't have any information. I didn't know anything. And the Spirit said, your children are going to be removed. And I cried out loud. I'm like, no, I'm not done. I'm not ready. And
I wonder, can this be postpartum depression? Part of the pregnancy? Because she's talking crazy about spirit and God.
And I'm a good woman. I don't do naughty things. I'm a really good girl.
But the next time we hear from Ruby in late October, she's changed her tune.
I can't say everything that I want to say, but I really did feel like the arrest was like a rescue. Like I just felt so many angels around, and it was like a relief. It was just really kind of surreal, kind of strange. But I just keep thinking about, President Nelson's talk, think celestial, and I know he said in the past about myopic thinking, and he's
And she looks normal. She looks like a normal parent.
How many people,
And that's the worst case scenario, when you look normal and only a few people know that you're nuts or that you're crazy.
I think it's time to change, to repent, and to do what I can to let the Lord know I love him and my family.
She looks like a normal, happy parent. And I relate to that situation because, again, only the Father really knows what's going on.
Her head.
I could not come out of this without his grace, without his mercy, without his help. This has been the strangest and the most miraculous intervention. It put everybody where they needed to be. It separated me from Jodi, so I'm not hearing her. And I think just being gone and not hearing her has cleared a lot of things up for me.
Ruby and Jodi both pleaded guilty to all charges against them in December of last year. Ruby is caught on a recording discussing the pleas and future court proceedings.
Did you see that Jodi pled guilty today?
I did see that. Yes. Is that a relief for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a big relief. There would have been positive the other way too. Had she not pled guilty, there's enough evidence that she could have been convicted for life. But that would have been messy. It would have been really messy, and the kids would have. So.
So do you and her get the same outcome no matter what now, or is there a chance that it would be different?
That's a really good question. That's one that I've asked Lamar. No, we can still have different outcomes.
Ruby theorizes that Jodi pleaded guilty because she knew Ruby would testify against her and expected Jodi would lie about her mental health history.
She can lie on her paperwork, and she probably will. I don't think she's going to give them her history. But I think in the interview, it's going to be apparent that she's mentally ill.
Mental health is the biggest problem to diagnose and to prove because there's so many barriers.
How much responsibility are you taking? How are you aware that what you've done is wrong? And she's not. She's the only reason she pled is because she didn't want to do life. She knew I would testify.
Then Ruby reveals the last time she spoke to Jodi was the day of her arrest.
When was the last time you talked to her? Was it that day?
Mm-hmm. It was when we were arrested. Yeah, I left early in the morning to go to a dentist appointment with Julie. We left at like 3 in the morning. And she called me sometime in the morning. And so I went back down. But
way he's going to get prepared is if you push him and ride him.
Okay, I will. I'll call him today. He doesn't.
Again, that looks like a nice big house. So it's like, how can you be a maniac and owe so much property? Who is funding this? Where's all the money coming from?
Yes, but we didn't do that.
In a later phone call, Hildebrandt can be heard visibly emotional, but
To come pass. And so he starts talking to him about the last days. And he says that nation shall war against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. But and then he goes, but before all these that he just talked about, they shall.
All right, I'm going to pause it right there. Wow, this is the longest I've been on a podcast. My computer down to 8% and is about to die. So, relating into what I was saying, mental health issue is the most difficult thing to prove because it costs a lot of money. You got to get the doctors in, and you got to do schedule with another schedule with another schedule. That takes forever. So, this whole belief all women are safe and are going to help the kids, it's a hard one to. It's a hard pill to swallow, and that's the only way I relate to this story because I had to go save my kids. I figure I'm battling MS. The least I can do is take over for my child and help him out. Mom could be having mental health issues and that is not doing the best for the kid. All right, my computer's down to 8%, but this is a crazy story I never heard of. Ruby, Frankie, and Jodi Hildebrandt. Comment below. My name is Noel, battling MS here. New location in PA. My computer's about to die. It's down to 9%. So this is my solution to my MS problem is to talk as much as possible because if you don't know, part of MS is you lose your ability to move your fingers, to walk, your ability to talk. Like, I'm a little bit tired. I don't know how podcasts do it for an hour straight talking. So I'm just happy that I was able to do it been on for 53 minutes. But that story sounds crazy. You know, it doesn't even enter my mind that somebody can be so evil towards their kids. And then the fact that nobody noticed, the teachers didn't notice, or anybody visiting didn't notice. That lady, Jodi, who was the pastor, didn't notice. Oh, no. She was the pastor of this whole cult. So she was part of the whole problem. But again, it's sad that it took so long for somebody to do something. But as a man, I should relate to the fact that mental health issues, only the husband saw it, and he should have done something like take over the kid. Taking care of kids is a full-time job because you got to go to work a 9 to 5, and then you got to go home and work for the rest of the day until bedtime. So you only get bedtime, and that's till the kids are 18. So for the next 18 years, you got to be number one father. Unless you could afford for a babysitter, or somebody to take care of the kids. Otherwise, it's not nobody else but you. So that's the only way I relate to this story, to the fact that Ruby and Jodi, somebody should have done something way before this happened. I think they got 40 years in jail. So it's crazy that they're going to go to jail, but then they're going to go see parole, and they might be paroled. You know, it's women. Believe all women. But what do you think? If this is your first time, click on the channel, go to Verbal on Life and subscribe. I'm running out of energy. I can still walk. Can I stand up? I don't know. Here I am with my disability, barely walking, barely talking. But that was a good story. And when I say good story, I mean that lady who is the number one supporter of the evil, Ruby, definitely deserved to go to jail, because why you harming kids? And then those kids are going to grow up. Like, they're going to be adults soon. So they got to deal with that hell they went through when they was kids. That's crazy. Insane how evil those adults were. My son right now, he's 14. I went to court and I won. I won custody. And the judge actually didn't give me custody. He just said, you got to go talk to a lawyer for next step. But I could read, and I read the order. So I didn't have to go to a lawyer. I just went and picked up my son. Didn't tell anybody anything, just took him with me. So when the mom called, I told her, by the way, I'm taking over the kid, and you could come visit him once a month, once a week. Call me. I'll let you see him on the weekend. So that's crazy. When, roles are switched, and now you're the number one father, and the mom gets visitation rights. That is extremely difficult, but it's possible. With no lawyers, and just, I went to court and represented myself. So that's the only way I relate to this story. And look at the kid. See, the mom looks normal. Insane. That's an insane story. If you haven't heard, it's Ruby Frank and Jodi Hilbert. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to check out their podcast. I can't believe they had a podcast. They give everybody a podcast now. Now, one of my goals for today was to see if I could talk for an hour. If I could get away with that. Let me see if I could walk after this. I'm going to go make myself some coffee. And traveling between here and the kitchen is a mission for me. And what time is it? Right now it's 2:30. My son gets out of school at 3, and the bus drops him off at around 3:15. It's a good 15-minute commute from here to school. And I haven't heard from his mother in a long time. She doesn't even call. That mental health issues are real. So shout out to Ruby and Jodi. They got mental health issues, and they brought their kids into the problem. And look at her. She looks like a normal adult. Look at all the kids. That is sad. So, but again, comment below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for subscribing. I got I shouldn't say that. I got 1 subscriber last night. So I'm up to 1,636. Any comments, please? I don't think I'm going to do you know what I've been doing? Trying to save the videos and edit. You know how hard it is to edit a video when you can barely move your hands? Oh my God. Editing a video takes me a good 5 hours. Just copy, paste, and moving things around. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I get to be home alone. You know what's the trick? When you're home alone and you fall to the ground, I just got to sit there for a good 10, 15 minutes. Wait to get my strength back and able to walk and stand up. But going through MS, that's the trick. You fall to the ground, you still sit there. Eventually, hopefully, you get your energy back. With that said, let me see if I can fix this.
verbal or life.
All right, my computer's at 8%. Let me kill this. Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next video. Peace. Our computer's about to die at 8%. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys on the next video. The visual is not working. Why? Hey, got it to work. Little light problems. Peace out. See you guys in the next video. Peace. Thanks for watching. And I want to do this every day at 12 o'clock. Computer's at 6%. With that,